Just going to start getting the word out for others to join. And then we can have some fun. Let's put it out to the World Wide Web. Let's post this to everybody. Post. What's up, Firm? How you doing? My Soundler browser is offline. It is offline. That's always fun. Sorry, I'm just reading some of the things I've come. I'm doing pretty good. Firm, how you doing this evening? Did you have yourself a good boss battle? I'm just trying to make sure that I get all the different groups to know that I'm in and ready to go. So I'm just trying to do two things at the same time. Feud went pretty well for me as best as I guess it would go. M-Dog, what's happening? It's going pretty good. HBK, come on in. What's happening? I'm just trying to let everybody know that we are playing on the Twitch right now, so I'm just going to put it into the different places for everybody. The feud went about as well as it could go for me, and that's because I unfortunately have kids and other things that happen on a Sunday. So I think I scored close to 80 million for the feud, which is basically my score for Saturday night. So when the feud starts up until I completely pass out, that 5 hours or period. Marvin, awesome. Thank you so much for the follow. I'll have to make sure I wanted to get into the champs gameplay screen. I'm not sure we'll get a chance to see it, but I will make sure to put in. Let's do a follow here, just because I know that you have now made the list, Marvin. Thank you so much for the follow. Let's put that in there. So you just made the list. Thank you so much, Marvin. Appreciate it for sure. Let me just get one last one out there to the family. The last one on the list. The first one in my heart. To the Haven family. Let everybody know that I'm online. And we can start playing through. What's happening, footers? Welcome on in. Yeah, it is. It's definitely time to put out some knowledge. We got a lot to talk about. A lot of things going on. So, the feud was pretty good for me. How did the feud go for you, Firm? How did the feud go for you? I didn't ask that question back to you. How did the feud go for everybody else out there? I usually only get 1 or 2 hours through it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought you were following too. Kilted, hello. Welcome on in. ASG, welcome on in. Hey, everybody. Well, I appreciate the follow as well. So, thank you, Kilted, for the follow. You just made the list. And hello from Scotland. You're in the future. Still awake. I appreciate you coming in. Limited due to work. Yeah, work seems to get into the way of feuds. Yeah. Made it to level 13. Congratulations, Marvin. That's awesome. Like 13th milestone or 13th level when it comes to like League right over here. So, hey, White Mango, what's happening? Yeah, the problem is that the feud itself is it's always a hard thing to do. I know. HBK grinded to 157 million. Awesome. Female bass bottle, eh? Oh, I know, eh? I know. As a Canadian, I know, eh? I know that this is going to be a very interesting one. Morning, Marco. How you doing this morning? Welcome on in. Welcome to everybody just making their way in. We're just going to... 13th milestone. That's pretty awesome. Way to go. Way to hit the 13th. Where did I hit? so far in the solo. What am I? I'm at 13th as well too right now. Yeah, ASG, I'm with you. I like the flash feud schedule better. It allows me, at least at night, to play. You're trying to join me in faction. Yeah, you're trying to get up to the. Well, one way to do it is to double my score and knock me out of the faction. HBK. That's a good way to do it for sure. Yeah, the flash feuds ASG are better for me as well because it allows me to play at night and then I don't have to worry so much during the day to when I'm having to take care of my kids and stuff. I think I said hello to you, White Mango, but yeah, come on in and welcome and thanks for coming in this evening. We got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. Marco got the Tech Bailey. Oh, you're so lucky. I wish I had Tech Bailey right now. I've been trying to get her for forever. Flash feuds are decent, Kilted. I agree with you. They're a little bit easy. Yeah, Johnny, we were, and hello everybody else for sure. Yeah, we were doing really well this time. Get her off the prize wall right there while you can. What can I do? What can I get off prize wall? I don't think I actually have the ability. I could like purchase her. Is that what you mean? Like the purchase? I think I'm too far away to actually. I think I'm actually over 400 away from role model. So that would get me closer, but it wouldn't get me her at all. That would be the issue. Might be worth a check. Let's see how far away we are. With the tokens. Oh, okay. Yeah. At the end of the month, you mean? Yeah, absolutely. I actually feel really good about a female boss battle. I think it's about time, and I think it was something that was coming. So we just had to sort of be ready. But considering that so much of this, I'm actually further away. Wow, I'm 550 away, so even further. So yeah, I will definitely get her with the tokens at the end of the month for sure. For sure, yeah. 6-star Naomi on tour with her at level 1. Wow, 34 stuns. Well, the stuns will definitely do that. Yeah, if you got the stuns, it's definitely a thing for sure. Yeah, I think we're absolutely going to kill it, White Mango, for sure. I think we're hungry. We're chomping at the bit to get this one going. Ads. Oh no. Well, I'll still be here after the ads. Need more. Yeah, this one will definitely be different. Showboat Bale. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm hoping to get her from the shards, but if I don't, then that's what I'm going to have to get myself. So I think that's where I am. It's probably what I'm going to do. But if there's a way for me to get the other Bailey, hey, a 5-timeser. We'll take it. We'll take the 5-timeser. They come all too sparingly. So yeah, lots to go over today. Feeling I'm excited about this. I think for the most part. Bill's Mafia. What's happening, bro? Come on in. Welcome on in. We are talking some faction boss stuff. We're going to go over sort of who we think we're going to be the best. We're going to get my videos getting ready to go. I'm excited for this. Yeah, we haven't been together since Wednesday, so Bill's Mafia's week has been not as good. I can tell by the emoji. Not as good as he would like it to be. So, yeah, I hope everyone had a really good feud. They did, I guess, the best that they could. Sundays are always tough for me. Sunday is just a family day, so it's me and the kids. My wife, obviously. Sometimes my mother-in-law is here as well to help out, but can't really feud. So everything that I can do feud-wise is really the night before. So I went to bed, I think, 16th or 17th in the Haven faction. And then I woke up and I think I was in the 80th. So everybody else woke up and started killing it. Overall, I feel always turned in some kind of argument. Yeah, I either only can beat low guys and get yelled at for having low score, or bring in sub guys who can beat a 6-star and get yelled at for being slow. Yeah, ASG, it's definitely not easy. It's always better to try to find somebody to tag with, so it's you and somebody who works at a similar speed and style as you do within your faction, and then you just keep rolling with them over and over again. And that's one way that many overcome that sort of issue. So you sort of have to pick your battles with that. It's everyone's wants the faction to do great, but you want to do great for yourself as well too. So like, that's really hard. Yeah, family. You're right, Kilted. Family always does come first. So you gotta deal with making sure that the family's taken care of, which is why I never really stress about doing too much in feuds. I do as much as I possibly can, and my family in real life as well as my family in the game, they understand. Welcome on in, Ender Bean. Thank you so much. I appreciate that my smooth jazz voice on a Sunday night is going to help you either come to grips with the boss battle things that we're doing, or it's going to put you all to sleep. Either way, it's a win. I'd like to see. Women's roster, yeah. Women's roster is tough, and now we're going into a faction boss that we don't have a lot of people making trap gems, right? So that's going to be difficult for all of us. It's going to be difficult. Molly Holly kicked ASD. I agree. Molly Holly's really good. So this feud was perfect for lower rosters. Yeah, and I think this feud worked out better. ASMR. I like that. That's pretty funny. So you don't need a big lineup anymore. What you need is you need promoters, and you need the ability to get some first time wins. And I think that's really what's going to help people that make big scores that don't have big rosters as well, too. Who I'm going to use, Marco? That's a great question. That's what we are going to be looking at right now. We're going to go over all sorts of possibilities of what we can do. There's going to be a lot of Goat Becky for this one. There's going to be I think a lot of Hall of Fame China, and there's going to be some other ones in there as well too. So we're going to take a look at this and see sort of what's here. Yeah, H. Wadley, you've made it. You are on the list. You have made it. The attendance, you're on there. 2 million short of maxing it. Oh, sorry, Bills Mafia. Yeah, I've done that a couple of times before, where I've just fallen asleep in the middle of a feud, only to be yelled at by whoever I was partnering with for falling asleep as I was supposed to be doing this. Yeah, EO. Yeah, if you did get EO Sky, she will be good for this one as well too. And if you got both gears for China, that's going to be big too, right? So if you have both gears for China, that's going to be a huge thing. What's happening, Kane? The Vandal is in. What's happening? 3 or 4 characters are totally gonna do it. Yeah, what's happening, Thomas? I'm doing pretty good. Where is China in all of this? There she is. Yeah, so if you have China, you are going to be pretty happy with this one, considering though she's pretty much the only one in the aggressive class. Yeah, so some of us need carries. Some of us are lucky to have Kane the Vandal around us. But if you have her second gear, if you have the gold and the silver gear for Hall of Fame China, and traps are going to do 100% more damage, you are laughing to the bank. So I think like if we were to rank this just off of visuals for the very beginning, I would probably put China at the very beginning of that. If you do have Bailey, yeah, footers. That's a great point. So if you do have Bailey, and I know that liability in my faction has him, or has her. He's done it. So like that's someone you definitely would love to use, right? Yeah, if you can get your hands on those Goat Becky shards, Watley, that would be another good one to use. And Near, you are 100% correct. It's so nice of them to not allow us to break the shield. Although there's lots of people who make, like a lot of people are going to be, they're thinking about people using Hall of Fame China, which is why they think they designed it this way. So she's just going to fill the board with reds and purples and blow stuff up. That's a great question, Bills. So China puts out as many as there are that colored gem. So she puts traps on red gems, she put traps on purple gems, and her other one up here, this black one, puts it on black gems. So it's really a matter of what color sort of way you're going to be playing her for this. So one thing that you're going to want to use is the power bomb for China, for sure, right? So 3,300, this will probably go up too, right? So this goes about 35K. per trap gem, and we all know that trap gems are getting 6,000. Is that what it says? Yeah, so trap gems are getting 6,000% more damage. So that's 60 times the damage. Trap shield, yeah. So she's going to be good for it all. So having this feels very much like if you have two Chinas going at the same time, you're going to be in really good shape to do a ton of damage with this. The problem is you're just not going to get everything on the board that you need. So this is sort of the one drawback with China is, how many black gems are there really going to be on the board at one time? How many, are you going to go red? Or are you going to go purple? Like which ones are you going to go? So this is going to take a little bit of experimenting, and I'm trying to figure it out in my own head, because you're going to have to make purple in order to get this move going off. And, I kind of want to see her stacking as well. So this black trap gem move here stacks by black gem damage by 30%. But if we're not making a ton of black gems or going after the black gems, if we're actually just going after the red gems, it might not be worth using that one. So I'm trying to figure a way to stack gem damage to get extra gem damage, but also to make enough trap gems that it makes this one worthwhile. So that's a good question, Johnny. So yes and no. So a lot of people play her with the black gem move set, and they use a drip plate, and her finisher does create black, right? So that's the other thing as well too, right? It's going to make randoms into black gems, right? So we could put this one in here, and then you would just keep cycling them over again. But we need to get back to this move right here. So that's the issue, right? So we're going to get extra damage for the finisher as well. So this is where I'm trying to wrap my head around it. That's a great point, Kane, because we are going to get an extra 1,000%. So we're going to get 10 times the finisher damage. So, a 10 times finisher for her right now is going to be, get 2 times the cash. If you haven't already, they're doing 10 times or 2 times the cash for Raid, Shadow Legends, I think, and it's up to like 300k in-game cash if you've never done it before. Or if you're like me and you just got a new phone, you can totally hit that up and get some of that cash. So just a spoiler, that's something that's out there for you if you haven't done that one yet for in-game cash. So 10 times this, so we're looking at 2.5 million. So I know a lot of people are going to be like very, very interested in getting finishers, and I think that's good for characters that don't have traps. Like, so if you want to make some extra damage, try to find ways to stack a really good finisher. But if this boss is like other bosses that we've seen, and it's going to have 1 billion damage, like a 2 million finisher, isn't going to do a ton. I'm trying to think of who has the biggest finisher for women. Is it Lita? Does Lita have the biggest finisher? Like mine was hitting 2.5 million this past feud. Yeah, so a lot of people are going to have to find a way without traps to try to make a ton of damage, right? So Lita's finisher, when I had her buffed up for this one, she was hitting. Mickey can grow hers firm, that's right, and it's going to be slower. But if you do have the Mysterio mask plate on, that'll definitely stack. But even Lita with a full gem move damage buffs and stuff like that was still hitting 2 million. So you're going to get 20 million. It's still, unfortunately, not a lot. So what's really going to carry this boss is somebody who's going to do a ton of trap damage. So I think, yeah, it's gonna be sort of I think you said it, ASG. I think like it's gonna be reds. Double red with a purple might work really well. I'm leaning towards this, and I want to know what y'all think and try to help me like come to a good idea of this, because I like having a good debate about these sort of things. So I'm thinking that if you're going to run these two together, similar how you would for the red build, but instead of putting in the purple stun as you would in other modes, you would use the trap gem damage, blow up the board, and then start over again. But we still have sort of the same problem. We're sort of hamstrung by the number of red and purple gems on the board at any given time, which is why this, Kelted, it's 100% going to be a trap gem sort of thing, and you're going to need somebody. And this is the other thing, right? This is something that was said a moment ago, is that we have a shield to deal with. That I think you said it, near that we have a shield, and that shield is only going to be blown up without the use, right? This says no boss breakers are going to work, so there's no ability to neutralize this. We have to break it at level 20 with 200 gems. So you're going to need China's ability to really put a whole bunch of gems on the board, blow up the board sort of thing. So that's why I think China's going to be hit or miss in the same ways that KO is going to be hit or miss, except KO stacks damage, and so turn after turn he's going to do even better, if that makes sense. So I don't know, we'll see how it comes, but I want to welcome everybody in. If I haven't said hello to you already, welcome for coming on to the Sunday night study hall, the science class with maybe that's it. We're trying to scientifically break down the boss right here. So I welcome you all in, and I thank you for joining me on a Sunday night, Monday morning. Yeah, footers. So Zbianca, who I don't have, but how many traps does she make? That is the question, because it's 2x2 here, but I know it's more when she gets up to 6-star. Is it the majority of the board when she gets to 6-star? Because that's also going to be a key for that, and then you can blow up stuff. Marvin, you talking about Kyrie, like Kyrie Sane? So Kyrie Sane, yeah. So Kyrie might be the only one that is technically good because she has trap gems, but I'm not sure how many people are going to have her at 5-star. So that's the other sort of issue we have to work with. Only 6, but she would break the board with the X-Breaks. Yeah, so you'd be able to definitely blow up the board, which is going to help with the shield and stuff like that. So yes, so Zbianca is going to be, that's who you're talking about. Okay, yeah, so Zbianca is going to be really good in this category, right? So if you're talking about focused, I think she's going to do really well in this category. We have a few in this category to talk about, but in reality, there's only like 6 or 7 superstars that have trap gems. So we have a lot to we don't have a lot to work with there. So we're going to have to be creative in whom we are going to put in there, whom we can get to stack damage. So it's going to be I think that's where it's going to be a difficult boss battle if you don't have a lot of people with those attributes. Yes, I don't have Super Stacy. This is a great point by that Nier makes. It will hit higher, but even with that higher finisher route, what are we looking at? 3.5 million, I think. Is that correct, Nier? Like what Super Stacy does, at the most. And so you're looking at what, 30, 35 million per finisher, and then you have to load it up again, right? So that's the danger we run into. But you'll correct me. I don't have Super Stacy that high, or with medals. It's even higher than that. Okay, so it's that's before the medals. So if you get a 200%er on there, plus the other stuff, you don't have her either. Yeah. So that's if you do have Super Stacy, and you're looking to go the finisher route for sure. And the boss does up the MP. Yeah, so this is actually a great segue into sort of like what we're looking at. So right, so nothing for 3+ turns, so no freezes or anything like we did last time. We're going to see the damage for each player dealt. Each turn is going to be 1.5 million. So even less than what we've been used to. We've been used to about 2.5 million a turn, and it's only going up 300k for each turn that elapses afterwards. So it looks like for a 5-star gold, you should be able to last 3 turns, provided that you've leveled them up to 5-star gold max, and you might have to put on some vitality plates in that case, but you should be able to last into the 3rd turn, which is the longest we've seen at a level 20 so far, for most 5-star golds. So that's a huge improvement in a deal there. So, and I think this has to do with, I think, Scopely realizing that we don't have as many female characters, nor do people have them built up as much, because we have not used them in such a capacity. So I wouldn't be surprised going forward if once a month we have a male boss battle and a female boss battle to go with a male showdown and a female showdown, to go with a male feud and a female feud. Or they might, it looks like they're probably going to switch back and forth between male feuds and female feuds on a monthly basis. But you're absolutely right, Redemption. Like nobody has built up their boss breakers for females. And so this might also be a sort of give to us, knowing that we don't have anything sort of built up like at all. So less damage per turn, so you should be able to last a little bit longer, get some more damage in there. This one's going to be the pain, I think, that's going to do the most aggravation for all of us, right? 200 gems is a lot of gems, right? There's only 49 on the board, and if everyone on your team blows up the board, that's still 4 gems shy. Sorry, that's more than that. It is still 54 gems shy, so you'd have to break it five full times and then some, just in order to get that down. So you're going to have to do a lot of damage, and it might not be able to get down that first turn. It's going to take, at least it's any gem. But keep in mind that math isn't my high point, but I do know that that's a lot of gems that we have to break as a team of 4. This one is going to be interesting, right? It's going to turn all of these into leech gems. They belong to the boss with a strength of 1. And I'm not sure how that's going to work. Yeah, White Mango. Ticker Plate is going to be very, very useful to help with getting that board blown up for sure. Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to have to find creative ways in which to bring the shield down, because we're required to use so much with that. ASG said there's not enough good females, though. It's going to be tough. Yeah, so this is the issue that we're going to have, right? So I think it's doable based on what I see so far. So that gives me hope, and I'm a little bit optimistic with that. I'm optimistic with these different boss abilities that we have to deal with. But yeah, it's not going to be easy because of how few blow up the board females there have been in the past, but recently they've gotten a lot more of them in there. I wonder how these leech gems are going to work, because they don't use any gems. They don't really break any gems. So do these leech gems, when we break them, give the boss some sort of, like, just 1 for each one? I'm not sure how that's supposed to work. I'd be interested to see if this changes at all, because turning them all into leech gems, it seems like if they're doing this, it's basically just to wipe out the trap gems on the board without making it too difficult for us. And if that's the case, then thank you, Scopely, for turning them into something that doesn't hurt us, but also doesn't do much other than wipe out the board for you, right? Yeah, Bill's Mafia. I've brought this up multiple times about multiplied gems. That they should be counted for their strength. So if you have a times 15, it should be 15 gems off the board and not 1. 100%. Yeah, White Mango. I think I figured it out as we were going through, right? It just wipes the board clean. I'm hoping that it's not so complicated, Johnny. Like, I hope that's what me going through all of this will hopefully do, is make it less complicated and less scary for us, so we can come to sort of an agreement of what are the best ones that we can go after, who's going to be good to use beyond that. So that's the goal tonight, while we're sitting here having a good time. And then increased the boss for each one. Okay, so we're going to increase MP by 10 per turn, and that's probably going to go off on the second turn. Typically in the past, these two, when it says 1 to 2 turns, these two usually go off first, so we get the shield and the damage. Then the next time they wipe out the traps and put the MP up. But I've been wrong before, and it might be that all 4 of these go off at the same time. So we just have to be prepared that that's what's going to happen to us. So as long as y'all are prepared and I'm prepared, then Becky Goats, yeah, keep those fingers crossed. Kane, I am absolutely with you on that one. So who are our trap gem people that we can run? So Kane, you bring up I like good segues. I'm always a good fan of the segue. So I like this play of using Becky Goat and putting down kind of like you might have done during this boss battle, or not this feud, considering the trap gems were making it good. But cheeks, what's happening? Welcome on in. Hope you're doing well this evening. Trick Mela. Yeah, we'll go over Trick Mela in a second of people that you can use for sure. So the problem with using the Disarm Her is that it is going to cover up a bunch of your trap gems. Feud went well for me when I was feuding, so I did probably close to 80 million. How about yourself? And so this might be a better play, maybe going a tri-colored build. Or you might want to try another one that just creates gems. So, but again, because we're getting that bonus for the finisher, it's only going to bump it up to 2 million, but I guess every sort of thing will help, and it will, as you said, Kane, exactly, it'll bump up this, so you'll be able to drop these down again, and try to continue. If broken by you, this is going to destroy this is going to destroy crossbreak gems. So we're not going to make any crossbreak gems, but we are going to do some damage. Yeah, so we want to get as many of these on the board as possible. This is going to do some extra damage as the finisher. So I like this in theory so far. These just steal gems. You got like 100 mil. That's awesome. It's better than I was able to do. And that's a very, very good score, you know. Like I've only hit 100 million a couple of times in feud, and that's just from a lack of having the time to feud as usual. But it is what it is, right? We got kids, we got families, we got work, we got other things that we got to do with our lives. So I totally understand. Anybody else that has come in recently, welcome on in for Sunday night. We're just going over who we think we're going to be the best and who we might be able to put in the bargain bin as I put towards our list. 32 million is still a good score, ASG. That's awesome. Like, especially, we have to remember, we all score lower in female feuds, right? That's just the nature of things. There's very few that work as fast as many of the male competitors do in the game, and so it just usually goes a lot sort of slower. Yeah, Hall of Fame China is probably going to be the best when we get. Yeah, we'll get back to her. So I like this moveset, and I'm concerned about getting this green one back up if we run it in a tricolor. And part of me is also thinking that putting these down allows you to blow up the board as well too. And that's the other thing that I was thinking as well, is so we get to the shield. So if we don't win on turn one, then if we did run it, tell me what you think, Kane. Like if we did run this with the Disarmer, it's going to leave us 16 crossbreak gems that we can then blow up the board on top of that. Or this, it might be one of those cases where you play this first and then you add these afterwards and try to blow up the board as best you can. So this is going to be a trial and error thing, right? Especially because these trap gems are going to do so much damage. That's where the majority of our damage is coming from. So you can use the other red. Yeah, that was the other thing that I said too, right? So would it be better to run the finisher, or is it better to use one of these two, right? Maybe not the choose gem, because we know how slow choose moves go in the boss battle. This one's just a straight 3x2, so rather than choosing 7, you're hitting an area that you can then blow up as quickly as possible, reload, and go for it from there, right? Finisher and 2 reds. Okay. I see what you did there. So maybe if we do this instead. This is interesting. Okay. I like this as well. I like this idea of this swaps into reds, put all these down, and then 3x2, hit the finisher again. This might be the quickest way to get it off that recycles the best. We don't get the benefit of 36 more trap gems. But these ones only destroy the cross breaks, so we're getting the extra damage on the gem itself, but we're not getting the bleed, right? We want to make sure that we keep the red one in there for the bleed itself. So I like this moveset. So there's definitely a couple of movesets that I'm going to mention in the video. So I appreciate the brainstorm. Thanks for that, Kane. Awesome. So she's one option for us. In focused, and a lot of people have a Stacy Keebler, and so Keebler's going to be interesting because it is only 3x3, but it is going to make random yellow gems when you break them. So you're going to be able to hopefully create a big enough cascade from there to help break the shield. She also stacks, right? So what Keebler's actually going to be, I think, a good play in this. I think she's going to be a lot better than people think. And I'll show you why. Because she's going to be able to turn traps into purple. Let's equip this. And then each time through. So this is the way that got people excited when she first came out. So you'd be able to buff this damage for 2 turns over and over. And because you're actually not swiping any gems, this buff is going to continue to grow and grow. You put down a 3x3, you make sure that it goes over at least 2 purple gems. So that way this making 7 trap gems turns all of them to purple, which is going to load this move here. And then it's going to destroy random 2x2 areas after that. So I think if you don't have some of the bigger names, I think Ms. Keebler is actually going to be really a sort of a sneaky pick in this, that she's going to be able to stack some damage similar to how KO does, and hers is actually more than, because I think KO's is 129 or so, 130 for 2 turns, and this one's 164. But it's not all gems like KO's, but it is all yellow gems. So then after the first run through, you'll be able to stack that, and hopefully your 2x2 random area actually hits something worthwhile. So I like Stacy Keebler as, if you don't have Goat Becky, and if you don't have Z Bianca, right? You just made the list, Spider Guard. Thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it. And welcome on in. You are on the class list. Trick Mella, which I think she's the next one in our category of makers over here. So the problem with Trick Mella, Gru, what is happening? Welcome on in. Hope you're doing well tonight. Is she's only making a row, so she's only making 7 of them. So I would put her below sort of the ones we've been talking about so far. So if you don't have anybody else who makes trap gems, this is someone who makes trap gems, and you can work with. And I don't think she makes anything else. She does have create random gems and things like that. Yes, it's a good thing you mentioned it, Gru, last time, because you brought your wish, not your wish, but you brought your thought into someone at Scopely has to be checking out my stream and getting ideas from y'all, because y'all have some really good ideas, and they seem to be finding them now. So keep up the good work there, and if you are on here, Scopely, I appreciate you coming on in, and I am ready for my call up to the majors whenever y'all are ready. So anyways, with the trap gems, she's only making 7. You can put the submission gems down It's not going to do a ton of damage, right? She doesn't, and they don't leave anything on the board afterwards. Yeah, I'll be there whenever you're ready. The finisher itself, Bill's Mafia, that's a great point. So the finisher itself, whatever the damage of the finisher is going to get 10 times that. The gems are going to be added on top, but they're not part of that 10 times. So yes, that's correct. So if you are going to be playing Mela, you're going to put this down. You're going to use this probably to help you recycle. The problem is after that, all of her moves are random gems unless you have her at 6-star, and then you can choose gems to make into purple. So if you had the reds loaded, the problem is how are you going to load the reds? That's her other really big issue, is she doesn't really have anything but random moves that fill that up. So if you do have the 6-star move, you can put it in place of the Code of Silence, and you can try to reload it. Yeah, it's rough because it's not going to be easy to do a lot with her, right? But if she's your best focus character and the only one that has the trap gems, because I don't think she actually has a finisher. I think at 6-star this actually is a finisher for her, so there's just not a ton to be done with her in that sense, right? So that one's going to be a tough play right there. Yeah, Cheeks. So we were going to get to, I think this is the Kyrie saying, yeah, it is. So this is the Kyrie saying boss. She's chaotic. And we don't have it. You know, she's the only one that comes up on my, on our list of that, but we'll go through the women's roster itself to find more. I think that's her only trap move, right? Yeah. So she's got the sliding D, and you choose trap gems. It's still just 3, so you'd have to. It's just not a lot. Does anyone know how many trap gems she actually makes at 6-star? Does anyone have her 6-star? I guess is the better question. Or are we just sort of spinning our wheels trying to see if it's worth putting any coin into her beyond her coaching ability, right? You have her 5 gold. Okay, Cheeks. What? How many chews does she have of those trap gems? Because that's going to be the kicker for her. So she has 4, and then in terms of, it might go to 5 at 6-star. So if you brought her up that high, did we not just get a coach? Yeah, so trap gems would create 1 more trap gem. Everybody has themselves Dakota. So putting Dakota is going to give you 4. It's going to give you 5 if you have her at 5-star gold. And that might be the most that you're going to get out of her. But if you break them, it's still 4 according to the website. Thanks, Gru, for checking on that for us. So that you're going to get 5. It's still 4 of them. Yeah, so you're going to get 5 with Dakota and not a whole bunch more. You're going to make some into purple. All right, let's play around with her moves for a second and see, because I know this question is going to come up, and obviously she's going to be in the bargain bin as someone to use. And as you can see, I haven't leveled her much beyond just to get through tours whenever she comes up, and beyond that, stealing health, silence gems to cross break, stealing purple gems, right? So she's got nothing in 5 or 6-star that's going to help us. And she's going to do bleed or steal. Steal is useful. Bleed is useful, but neither, like as you can see, neither are going to do enough damage or heal you enough with which to, 29,000. That's not going to, when the boss is hitting you for $1.5 million, that's not going to, it's not going to do anything to help you. So you're more than likely going to run this. This is probably going to be the moves that you're going to use, is putting you're going to put you're going to put the trap gems down. You are then going to use the Tokyo Slam to break them of which you're going to turn cross breaks into purple. And if you can hit the finisher, yes, that's the other problem too. Is that it doesn't recycle well, and I think this is what you were trying to bring up earlier, Cheeks. Is she's the only one in the chaotic category that the filter finds us. I'm sure there's more, but the filter only finds her as the only one to have trap gems. But she doesn't have a strong finisher. She doesn't really destroy a ton. It does create cross break gems, but what if it hits on purple gems that aren't that you want? You know, you have to choose purple over there too. Okay, so Kairi Sane, again, if you don't have anybody else to help you, then this is the moveset that I would run her. I don't think there's another moveset that is worthwhile for her. It's not going to be easy. The bonus is that by making cross break gems, she is going to be able to help blow up the board, help with the shield a bit, but it's not anything to write home mom and dad about, I guess. We did talk about China a little bit earlier, but if you've just sort of walked in, China's probably my pick, and I think several other people's pick in the stream right now, and in the chat. I know Kane's high on her too as well for probably being the number one for this, and 2 and maybe 3 Chinas might be able to take this out, especially if you have her gears. So if you do have her other gear where the trap gems do 100% more damage, that is going to add so much more to her, right? So rather than doing 35k bonus damage for every trap gem, you are now doing 70k, and then you're going to multiply that by another 60. Strapped up, ready to go. Awesome, girl. Like you're going to do some serious damage with that. And we've been looking at a few ways to sort of run her. I think in terms of recycling and getting as many down as you can, plus busting the shield, that's 100% what I think is probably going to happen. You're probably going to want to run it with the double red. That's I say it every time we get through here. Acknowledge me, Oklahoma Thunder. You are been acknowledged. What's happening? Welcome on in. Do I have it? I do. I have this one just for you. Acknowledge me. Yeah, you have been acknowledged. Double red and the Twilight, like the Twilight plate. Yes, and so that's what I mean. So the plate on there, yeah, the Twilight Ritual plate. Yeah, I'll show the Twilight Ritual, but yeah, Oklahoma Thunder. This is what I'm talking about right here. So if you have the double gear, then you're getting an extra 100%. So you're getting 70k bonus damage times 60. So what's that math wise? 400 million. 70,000 times 60. So we're looking at 4.2 million. Does that make sense? 4.2 million each time you hit that right there, I think. So you have her at 6-star. Okay, well then you are going to be one happy camper with that. Is this what I think it is? This is the What's Rock is Cooking. You were thinking that's the basic bad attitude. Viper Strike. Am I looking? Are you Twilight? You're the Twilight Ritual. This is the one you were talking about. I never remember the names. I only sort of remember what they do. So whenever you break 3 or more red gems, you're going to make 7 blues into purple at the end of your turn. So if you're going to be running a blue and a purple, a red and a purple, then it's basically one of these 2 plates, whichever one you sort of feel more comfortable using to help you recycle one way or the other. So I want to say I did that math incorrectly. I hope I did that math incorrectly. Did anybody check it out? Kush, Kushwant, how you doing? Good morning to you. Welcome into the stream. I'm just going to check my math again to make sure I did this. 70,000 times 6,000% is 4.2 million. So that's how much that move will do. And then we got to, having all the trap gems on top of there, doing all the extra damage. That's basically what we're looking at. So I think China's going to be one of the best. I'm doing well. Had a good Sunday with the kids, and just enjoyed getting a whole bunch of stuff done, getting myself ready for tomorrow. Didn't burn myself out with the feud. I did as much as I possibly could, and I have an amazing faction who just have so many hard hitters. So it's going to be awesome. Yeah, you better put on. You are going to be carrying a whole bunch of everybody, so just get the get your backpack ready, because you are going to be carrying a ton of people. That is all you can ask for on a Sunday, as long as you get all the stuff done and the things that you want to do. Acro Dragon, Acro Dragon as a coach will definitely boost. So if you have Acro Dragon, I'll go show that actually in a second. Nope, what's happening? I'm doing pretty good tonight. How y'all doing? Let's go back to China. That's a great point. So if you have Acro Dragon, not this dragon, as we shall replace, but if you have the Acro Dragon, and that's gem damage, you're doing good. Awesome. Hope you had a good feud, had a good Sunday, Monday, wherever you are. So if you have Acro Dragon, he's going to create more trap gems, and I think he does more than 50% damage. Is that correct? I don't think mine's high enough yet. I just received him. By received, I mean I pulled him recently. So yeah, coaches that you can use that are going to help boost that number up. So 50% more is going to add more, obviously, on top of all of that extra good that she's going to be producing. So yeah, going to be. That was a good shout out, Footers. Thank you. I hadn't thought of talking about coaches or anything at that moment. You just got the kids to bed. I know that feeling. I get the kids to bed around 6:30, 6:45 Eastern Standard Time, and then I get the house cleaned as best as I can, do my chores, get the coffee ready so it's ready first thing tomorrow morning, and then I can sit down and start streaming with y'all. Yes, Johnny, you need the two gears in order to do maximum Hall of Fame China damage. Without it, you're still going to do damage. You're just going to do half as much. So instead of doing 4.5 million, you'd be doing 2.5 million. So for sure, it's 9:30 for 9:30 for yours in Michigan. Whoa, jeez. Isn't that sad? Sometimes no two people have the same kids who sleep at the same time doing this. But again, my kids are up at 6:30, so it's sort of you get what you you give and you take, right? But mine are also toddlers, so a little bit different how they go. So I know that. Not sure how many of you have actually recruited Bailey so far, or are going to get damage control Bailey by Wednesday when we start this. Yours is 1. Oh yeah, so 6. Yeah, you're going to be. Ooh, and it's 6:20 a.m. in India. I think that's what I really like about this this time slot that I have, this 8 p.m. time slot whenever I'm there, is that I get sort of the late night crowd like myself who are in the U.S. And just ending out their day, but I'm also getting those that aren't asleep yet or just about to go to sleep out in sort of the UK and Europe. And then I get those just waking up, like Hushes and Marco and others who are just starting their day out in South Asia. So I think that's actually really cool. I did call Retro. Welcome. I called also to my friends. What's the correct terminology? Is it Oceania? Is that the correct terminology to get the Australia, New Zealand, Tasmania crowd as well? So I think that's what's really cool is I sort of hit a place where most people can come in if they want to come and watch. that, sort of get left out by other streamers. Not that they consciously leave you all out, but you understand what I mean, just based on when they do things. Into trap gems. Yeah, so does anyone have Bailey damage control? Has anyone actually been able to recruit her? Because at 6 stars, she's going to be awesome for this. Because she has that, her trap gem at 6 star is it's a 6x6 area, right? So that's going to do some serious damage. She's going to be probably the only defensive that's going to make a difference for this one. So you don't have her, Gru. I don't have her. As you can see, I'm below the recruitment threshold right now. So in the 4 weeks, you should be at 2,500. Is that where we should be? We're 2 weeks into a 5,000. So yeah, so that's 2,500. So I'm 500 off the pace of getting her at 5-star gold. So she's probably what I'm getting off the prize wall, unfortunately. I know we talked about it earlier, Near, about getting her, or getting the other Bailey as well, but this is probably the only route that I'll get to get her. You just made the list, Diablo. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. You are on the list. You have made the class list with the professor. So, yeah, if this doesn't show you just how bad my defensive class of female characters is, and a good night to all. Well, welcome on in and welcome to class. And everybody else, if I haven't said hello to you already and you're already all in, I appreciate y'all coming in as well. That's how yours looks, Oklahoma. Yeah, I think it's it's not the greatest class to begin with. Just for her trainer, yeah, her training ability is amazing. The new Bailey, so absolutely, if you can get her, for sure. Choose 1 gems to make into trap gems. So this didn't come up on our list of people that you can choose, but Lacey Evans I know has a trap one as well that will make random gems. So am I planning to stream during WrestleMania? That is a great question. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't thought about it that far ahead yet. I'm really like week by week, and I know WrestleMania is 2 weeks away. Right? It's 2 Sundays away is WrestleMania. So I would say for now, yes. If enough people actually want to be on during WrestleMania and can listen to me while they watch WrestleMania, then I would do it. But if y'all don't want to, then then I would probably just leave it for the night. There's no, there's no point in me doing this if no one's going to be here, of course. But if y'all are around, I'll do that too. I'll find a way to put WrestleMania in the background as well, so we can do that together. Does anyone have Lacey brought up? I know my friend Demolition or Demo has Lacey up. So at 6 stars, she's got a trap move. That actually makes her really interesting at 6 star. So, but I can't think of anybody else in that defensive category that would have that. So we're looking at very few trap gem people in general. Have I missed anybody trap gem wise that I haven't sort of gone over yet? Because we talked a little bit about Bianca Belair. So she's going to make some trap gems, but she's going to continually blow up the board. So I think she's going to be very good in this as well too. I did go over Trick Brex. I think I probably did it before you showed up, Gru, but I can do that again quickly. We were trying to figure out sort of the best. And EO Sky. That's yeah. So EO would be the other one that I haven't gone over. Thank you. So this might be the better one, and I want to give a shout out again to Kane, the Vandal, for helping me think this through as we were talking, and others, of course. We were all talking this through about how to sort of run her, and we want to get the bleed damage, although it's not going to do like a ton of bleed damage, but it is going to be extra damage on things, and it's going to do 36 at a time, and then these would help to blow them up without losing them to the sub and recycle the purple and the red. So this is sort of where we sort of came to a small consensus about might be the best way to run Bex right now. The other way would be to put obviously the other one, but again, this also makes 36, and it just destroys crossbreak gems. So I'm not quite sure if you're not using the sub, because the sub is what creates the crossbreak gems. If this is only just going to boost each gem that it's on, this one seems to be the better one to use. Does that make sense, Crew? About just why that might be better to use? Yeah, so Bill's Mafia comes up with a couple of good suggestions that we should go and take a look at. I'm pretty sure EO does have traps. Yes, we all just used her recently. She does, right? So she's going to make into traps multiply gems at the end of it, so you're going to be able to get some multiply gem damage on that. She has low charge moves, which we also really like. These we're going to create, and so this is where she's going to be interesting, at least for a boss battle standpoint, right? So her arm trap is going to create blue gems, the pyro gems that are going to make blue that go above it. The stun isn't going to help us, and so I'm not sure the finishers have any use for us in that sense, but we can create blue gems, blue trap, so we can go double purple with this sub, where we're going to create a whole bunch of, not a whole bunch, but we are going to create some pyro gems at the very end of it. What were her other moves? Is there anything? And then she has the bonus for the trap gems as well too. That's right. And she has the blue gem damage. So EO Sky, this is very interesting. How she's going to scale into this one. Very good. Okay, so we got China. And we got EO Sky. EO Sky might actually probably be better because she has the ability to add some bonus damage and also, blue damage boost, as well as bonus damage for trap gems, of which they will turn into multiply gems. Very, very interesting. I would still want to use this if I could. I'd still want to use the sub because I want those pyro gems to hit those multiply gems. And then I'm not sure if I want trap gem bonus damage or if I want to just stack the blue gems. And I would be leaning towards stacking the blue gem damage because this is going to go multiple turns. I don't know. What do y'all think of putting these down that way? Just trying to figure out a way to actually break. I'm not sure you'd be able to use this armbar though, because you're going to want to make blue gem damage. I'm sorry if none of this makes sense. I'm just trying, like, in real time to wrap my head around how to use somebody that I don't have. So, and that I only played sparingly just to get through her things with y'all on the stream. And this is going to swap into blue gems. So a butterfly backbreaker, breaking all of these, and this would make random blues into strength 4, and then we can buff the blue gems and roll from there. Okay, so she has a couple ways to move and work this. I'm not sure which is the best right now, but EO Sky is definitely someone to consider. How many of y'all got EO Sky in this one? Because she's chaotic, and that was one that we don't have. I think that was the one that we have only Kyrie Sane so far. You think Rhea does it? Okay, yeah. You and Bill's Mafia both said that. So we can definitely check out Rhea as well and see what she's packing with this. So in the chaotic, that's all we had so far was Kyrie Sane. So, but we also have Judgment Day. And she has the Nightmare Lock submission. Random gems into purple. No, Ripley does not. She has countdown. So she's not going to be useful for our purposes in that one. Is there a way to max the solo event without Io or Becky? Are you talking about the solo one that we're doing right now for the feud, Watley, or are you talking this week? Because if you're talking about the feud, you are going to run into that exact issue, right? So without that, this tour here, actually this tour doesn't affect you without her because you'd just be getting tokens. You're talking about the feud one. I think this challenge tour, it's the decoder tour. This is what you're talking about. You're talking about the decoder tour, where you need one of these two, right? Where you would need. So you don't need EO to max this, but you do need one of these two. So you would need Rhea or Bailey in which to get all of these extra bonus points up here. So if you have one of those two, you are in better shape of maxing it. I'm trying to think of who is on this one. No, we all have her. So the 8-bit tour shouldn't be a problem. The challenge tour is different superstars, so that's not anybody that you're talking about. I'm trying to think. Which one are you having problems with, Watley? Or which one don't you have for? Is it in the decoder tour? Is that the issue? Because the decoder tour, I have neither one. I neither have Bailey nor Rhea, so I'm going to miss out on all of these contest points, which is probably going to cost me maxing the solo event. Park, yo, what is happening? Welcome on in. Good to see you. We're just talking boss battle and a little bit of tours at the moment is where we had gotten to. But yeah, we were just getting stuff going. Doing pretty good. Did the best I could over the weekend for feud. Did my 80 million over the the course of basically one night. Not so much today. How about yourself? How'd you do? I'm just trying to figure out who's the best to use in each of these categories. So we're thinking somewhere between Trix, Beck, and you have all of the CSS. You're at 7.8 million. You have all of them. So where did you fall short? Oh, you're trying to get all the way down here. You're trying to max out the bonus. So the answer to max out the bonus is always this right here. So having all the CSS, doing everything that you possibly can, maxing the war score. The other place is having all the CSS for the solo character contest. So if you got 10 million on that, or whatever the max is on there, there were extra points in there. And then there are points somewhere else within all of this as well too. But if I had to guess, the reason is that you would have to be spending more. So that's the issue, right? So if you have all the CSS, you max out all those other things, it's going to bring you somewhere in this range, right? So this is usually where I finish as well too. That's where you miss it. Yeah, where you miss it is spending and getting into the leaderboards. So if you're in the leaderboards and you're able to make it into the war score leaderboard or the solo leaderboard, I believe one of them or both of them have that within it, and that's where you miss out on it. So the answer, as always, if you want to max out on the bonus, is some sort of spend. So that would be the answer, I think, that you're looking for. So Okay, so I think we have a good grasp on who's going to be sort of good in that sort of top tier. So we think Bex. We think that Zombie Bianca is going to be good. I think Ms. Keebler is going to be a sneaky pick. Like, she might actually be a really good one for this as well, as I mentioned earlier. Carmella, not so much for what we're looking at. We said that Kyrie, not so much. That Io Sky, if you got her, she's going to be really good for this one. Miss Stacy's going to surprise a lot of people if you don't have Becky or... I still think Becky and Z Bianca are going to be better than her, but I think like she's going to be not as far behind as many people might think. Hall of Fame China is going to be one of the best ones, especially if you have double gear. And I think that's going to be the kicker, is that if you don't have double gear, she's going to be good. She's going to help destroy that shield, but I don't think she's going to be... you're going to need 2 with gear, I think, to be really, really effective in all of this. And last but not least in this one, we said if you were lucky enough, if you've got her already, if you got Bailey, this is going to be one that Bailey's going to do well in. I think that's our list. I think our list is about 5 or 6 strong. Those are going to be like our top 5, top 6 that are going to help you. And then after that, we're going to have to make ourselves a bargain bin of people. So this one's going to be tough because there's just not a lot of trap gem players in general. And those that have trap gems from a long time ago, like the Kyries and like the Carmellas, were never intended to be trap gem stars, if that makes sense, right? Like the trap gems were supposed to be something else. Fish, what's happening? Love it. You're enjoying the show. You're here for the show. He's got the popcorn ready for the show, ready to see how we're gonna work on this boss battle. So yeah, they're not really trap gem people. So that's where I think we're gonna get into our issue with this boss battle. So what do you do then if you don't have the right people, is going to be sort of our next thing to figure out. Number one, you're going to have to hope that you have the right breakers. So we don't have a freeze this time, so freeze isn't going to be a big deal. This time it's Regeneration X. So if you're building up a boss breaker for one of your focused, then Hall of Fame Nikki. Let's go take a look at her. Let's go see. Basically, everyone is a go if you don't have those top 5 or 6 that I mentioned. It's a matter, at that point, it's a matter of bringing in somebody who's going to break the shield and whom you can get a high enough boss breaker on to help. So Regeneration X obviously is going to help. It's going to give you more gems for each match that you and your teammates do. So the higher up you go, the better it is. But, as you can see, I've been leveling up other people, especially for the freeze last time. So this is going to get me 5, maybe to level 5 at the most. So that's going to be a tough one. We can just pick anybody, as garbage as that is. So neutralize isn't going to do anything. Thomas, I don't blame you, right? Why waste it on there? And I think this actually goes for I think this goes for everybody, right? Like, see what you and your faction can do before you invest a whole bunch into these boss breakers. I've done that the last couple of times, is that as we're, as a faction, as a team, trying to figure out what we need, then I'll worry about upgrading the boss breakers. But I would for sure wait until we get at least up to the boss before you do that, right? So I'm the first streamer on the block right now because it's a Sunday night to sit down with this. But for the remainder of the week, the other content creators are going to give their opinions and ideas as well too. So lots to go over in that sense. So yeah, don't don't rush to do it would be my advice. But Thomas, and this is very important. This is not the last female boss. It's not. In fact, it's going to come every month. So you're going to have to you're going to have to be ready for that, right? Marco, you say your Trick Stacy has 165% gem damage from the strap, but only 9 traps. Yeah, so Trick Stacy, I'll go back over that in a second. I think Trick Stacy's going to be really good for what she's going to do, which is also break the shield, and then that 165 gem damage is going to stack. So it's not turn 1, but it's going to be turn 2, 3, 4 that she's going to start building up that damage. So I think that's where her utility is going to come in. Retro, I'm not going to expect anything from you. Appreciate it. Thanks for the help. Thanks for taking some of the load off of me in terms of me trying to help everybody out. So Oklahoma Thunder, I don't know the answer to that, but Demo, what's happening? You're here. You can actually help me talk about Trick Lacey in a minute. If I had to guess, the boss battle will be male and female once a month. So it might switch where we have a weekend female and a male midweek, and then the next month it'll be a male weekend and a female midweek. But it's here. It's not going away. And we knew it was going to come eventually because they gave the boss breakers to women. So we knew it was coming. So that's why I'm very much not surprised at this at all. So Marco, in terms of who you should put it on here, it's time, but I'm not sure you want to put any, we don't need to steal anything from there. Neutralize isn't going to work. It's time's the only thing that's going to be of value, but even then it's going to be, you'd have to see if we need actually extra time on or can this be only up a couple of levels so it doesn't waste too many of these and it goes off every 120 seconds or something. That's something to think about. All right, Marco was talking about the Stacy. So let me get back to Stacy. She is there, right? So Stacy is going to buff her yellow gems 165 if you have it maxed out for 2 turns. And what sets that down is when you swipe. So as long as you're not swiping and as long as these moves are reloading themselves, these are going to continue to stack turn by turn by turn. She does only make 9, so only 9 of these gems are going to be buffed by 60 times. But when you break them, you are going to swap that 2x2 into yellow gems, which are now buffed on a turn by turn basis. These traps turn into purple. These yellows reload these. So this is going to reload really well. It's going to stack. It's going to help break the shield. And depending on how well this cascades over time and over a number of turns, it's going to get better and better. Is the health at a 5-star gold enough to counteract or enough turns to do what we need to do? And that is an answer that I don't know, especially because we don't have any like stip tours that I can use female characters on. So that's another issue, is not being able to really try them out on a week by week basis. So I'm not sure how great she's going to be, and I don't think she'll be better than Bex. I don't think she'll be better than Bianca, but she has that possibility because she increases yellow gem damage. Where I hesitate with that is that the yellow gems aren't going to be the trap gems. So this boost is not going on to the ones that are going to be doubly boosted because of the traps. The traps are going to be turned purple, and then they're going to make yellow. And so that's why I think she's sort of maybe at the head of the bargain bin, if I had to put it sort of in terms of how I sort of view her. That's where I would put her. Does that make sense, Marco? Just of how she's going to run that way. So, Demo, I'm glad you're here because you have Okay, good. You have this Lacey, correct? This is you have her at 6-star. What? Um, how many trap gems does she make with that 6-star move? I'm wondering because she does make random gems into purple. So yeah, I think it'd be worth. Animations are another thing, right? So we have to take into account animations. We have to take into account the base is 6. You add in a couple of the trainers. We're looking at 8 for Trick Lacey, and then you destroy all of them, correct? When you choose the purple moves, so you're doing the big boot, and then you'd be able to choose. You wouldn't be using the 4. You wouldn't be able to first. So you're doing 9, and then force your opponent to skip their turn you're not using. So you'd be able to do some damage. I'm not sure you'd be able to do a ton of damage with Lacey at this stage, right? So if you had her at 6-star, here's another sort of bargain bin pick, is how I would put it. I'm not sure. It skipped 2 turns at 6-star, but for a boss battle, it's not going to do us any good. So we wouldn't be running that move, right? We'd be using the big boot. We'd be making. We can make moves into purple. We can make moves into random gems into yellow. You can heal yourself if you really wanted to. I don't think the finisher hits that hard, so it might not be worth turning it into black gems because you have to come back and make yellow. That's the biggest thing right here. It's an option if you have her that big, and demo you might be the only one who does, so that might be something that you could sort of play with, but it's not going to be the sort of the be all end all. Yeah, we just don't have a ton of people to work with on this one, so that's where I think it's going to be tricky as a boss. Is finding that balance of enough people that would have a China or a Becky that could do damage over multiple turns, but also be able to avoid or help with this. 5 seconds per animation for Stacy. Yeah, most people don't have them that high. And then the other part, Marco, is that once she's done and she creates those gems going 2x2 for yellow, that takes extra time as well for those to cascade out. So she doesn't have terribly long animations, but just long enough to not do as much as we'd like. So I don't know how y'all feel about the boss so far. Like, how do you feel as we've now spent an hour? You just made the list, JPT Metal. Welcome. Thank you for joining the class list. And you were in with the professor. Welcome and welcome and welcome. So we have to then... long animations and choose moves are our worst enemies. And the cascades, if they go forever, are definitely going to be a problem, right? So we have to choose wisely, I guess, of who we're going to put into these positions. So if you don't have one of the top 6 sort of that we've outlined, you're needing to get in here with shield breakers, right? So I think that's primarily who I'm going to be putting in the bargain bin, because we don't have, beyond the top 6, there's no one really good with traps, right? So that's my thinking, is that we need to find people who can break the shield without traps. So you need people who blow up the board in some way or another. So we need to find let's go sort of class. Oh, we had a was it Hall of Fame Nikki? That was one. Is this the one we're talking about? We are talking. Are you Nikki? You are Nikki Bella, but you're the icon. You're not the Hall of Fame one. That was what I was looking for. Replace. Yeah, China is going to be one of your best bets, right? I think that's why I think China is going to be one of the best ones to do this. You're gonna need, yeah. So Stacy, China, and anybody else who can bust the board and do a lot of damage that can quickly get things done. So I think that's where we have to lean to get people that can blow up the board. What do y'all think so far? Actually, I did not want to go look at you at all. I wanted to replace you. There was no need to look at you at all. Who's good at blowing up the board? Medusa can take out the board. Okay, so we can. Okay, we'll go look at her. Thanks, Oklahoma. She has a trap gem move, does she not? At 6 star, she does. 1 gem into trap gem at level 1. And they do random. Okay, so if you have Lana at 6 star, does anybody have Lana at 6 star? I know some of y'all might have her out there. How many trap gems is she making? Yeah, I you know what, Lana I used until we got to 5 star gold. She started to fall off a little bit, and then at 6 star I haven't really used her. I do have the gear for her as well, so that obviously helps with her gem damage stuff. But yeah, if I wonder how many traps, if someone would check that out for me, I'd appreciate that. So okay, so if we're just looking at people to blow up the board, Medusa is one of ours. You're talking this Medusa, or you're talking about the powerhouse Becky Medusa? Website says 7 at 6 star. Okay, so while I'm trying to figure out which Medusa we're talking about, the tech. Okay. The tech Medusa. So if we are making 7, we can add a couple more with coaches. So we're looking at 9 traps. If broken by you, you're going to deal damage, and we're going to make randoms into purple. Blaze has a way of blowing up the board too. Yeah, so that's another one that we could throw in there. I like that idea. So I'm going to make my list while y'all are helping me out, which I appreciate, by the way. I don't want to forget any of these, because I'm sure I'm going to get asked by a lot of people over this one. All right, so let's put this on here. So we got Blaze, we got Medusa, Alundra. That's why yeah. So EST Bianca is going to be on like the list of those that we can take to the top. I'm just trying to make a list of those who I would put sort of like in the bargain bin for those that don't have those top 5 or 6. Sorry, EST Bianca, yes. Same person. Same person. Who cares, right? So Lana would be an interesting choice. She's going to make a bunch of purples. You'd have to get more blue gems back at the end of that. So you'd need like a yellow. She does have a decent hitting finisher, but it's only going to hit for a million, so it's not like, it's not ground shaking or anything. But Lana's going to help blow up the board. I guess maybe that's the best we can hope for. Someone with traps who's going to help blow up the board. Who else is going to blow up? Is this, we had talked about 4 before trainers. Yeah, I think the same problem still exists, right? Like, we still have to figure out how to get more damage with her, and she's really good because she has that she has the stun, right, for other modes, but for this mode it's not going to do us much good. Some people have said possibly if you have the mask, raised mask on her, of which you can then sort of stack her finisher and build it up. But I think you can get it up to 2 million, maybe a little bit more. It's been a while since I've used her. I haven't used her at 6 star, so you might be able to get 20 million off the board. You'll be able to heal yourself, so you might be able to stay alive longer and keep the match going that way. So Lana is choose trap. Oh, that's even worse. But I know a lot of people have her Marco at 5-star gold, maybe even higher, depending on their rosters. So that's a possibility. I'm going to put Mickey on the list if you have, and that's a big if, right? So if you have the mask, so if you have that one right there, the Mysterio mask, whenever you make 5 or more heal gems. Trace KC, how you doing? Welcome on in. Glad you made it tonight. 125% yellow move damage for 2 turns. So you're going to be able to buff that finisher. Glad to hear it. Glad you're doing well. If you have a good move damage medal, spam the trap and yellow move. Yeah, if you just go like 2 back and forth demo, that you'll be able to do some damage. I think there'll be some mutant women that would be able to blow up the board. I think that's what we're just trying to do right now. So if you see anybody that I'm not thinking about that could blow up the board, throw it into the chat, and we'll try to help each other out with this one to see who amongst you blows up the board. So Io Sky is going to be really good. I don't have her, but she does make... she does have those pyro gems that's going to turn everything into countdown. Yeah, so the zombie EST is going to be great. Mutant Bailey. Oh. Mutant Bailey's got the blast gem, so she's going to be able to blow up the board pretty nicely. Is that the thinking? Yeah, she's not in this one here, which is why I hadn't seen her at the time. Trickster. Yeah, you should talk about the demo. You're talking about the Trickster Rhea. So yeah, Trickster Rhea is going to be more X-Break gems. Who are we looking at? Mutant Bailey. I have Mutant Bailey. Where are you, Mutant Bailey? Are you in here? You're not in there. I'm not a fan of this when we can do this way. I don't have to go between each one. I can just show it on one screen. And we can do it like that. That makes life a lot easier. Does she not? Yeah, so she has X-Break gems. Does she not have blast gems? No, she's all X-Break. I'm thinking of somebody else. No, she does have blast gems. That's what I thought. But it's at 6-star. X-Break gems, X-Break gems, X-Break gems. Okay, so here's someone who's going to blow up the board, depending on how high you have her. She does recycle really well. She is focused, which is why we had passed her on that list of things. Okay, so we're just going to list people. It's the 6-star move. That's what I was thinking, yeah. Let's put her on the list. Mutant Bailey. Snowfall for the finisher. Is that hers is the Snowfall? She's 2 columns, and then she does have... And the Snowfall gems, yeah. So the mutated Spine Buster you'd put up on the top row, and then you'd hit that, and it would just... Boom! Everything below it turns into X-Breaks, blow everything up, and then every 2 turns you're just basically doing those 2. I think it's what you're trying to say, right, Gru? You do this, then you blow up the other one. Oh, you were asking about I was talking about the Trickster class only. No. The reason I was asking about the Trickster class demo is that Tricksters generally have trap gems. So that would be why we've talked mostly about Tricksters at this point, is because they seem to be the only ones, for the most part, with trap gems. Io Sky, I think, being the only exception of not being one. What's happening, Maximus? She will be slow. I think for the bargain bin right now, my thought is you don't have anybody with trap gems. Finishers aren't going to do a ton of damage. They're going to do a couple million here or there, unless you have somebody who does a $2 million finisher, in which case they do like 20 million or maybe a little bit more. So we need people that are going to break the shield and help keep you alive and mitigate some of the stuff that's on there. So slow only matters if you if we're just looking to break the shield right now, I think is what I'm trying to do. So we're just looking for straight up people who blow up the board and do a lot of damage. It's too bad that most of us don't have her higher, because she also at 6-star has trap gems. So if you do have her at 6-star already, and I'm not sure how many do, then I think you'll be okay. Yeah, her finisher is long, but you could put them back and forth, as Gru said, right? You would just be using two moves. So the reason I didn't add Dakota Kai, another trickster, into this list is I'm not sure any one of us have her at 6-star yet. So anybody in the chat with her at 6-star? Because if you do, then you are one lucky individual. But otherwise, she would have been great. She'd have boosts on boosts on boosts. So if you have Dakota Kai pretty high up, she would be someone that I would consider as well. You got her 4 silver. I have her 4 bronze, Trace. So yeah, very, very few people have. Some people I know have pulled her higher at 5-star. So if you are one of those, then awesome. But otherwise, most of us don't. And that's why we're sort of debating sort of what to do with her. So EST, was that another suggestion? Was EST. We can make some multiply gems. Leech gems. Bonus for leech. So this isn't something that we're going to need right now, but in the future, if you do have Bianca Belair, the toughest, the acro version that I'm showing right here, this is going to be deadly come the boss battle where it's for leech gems. So keep that in mind. Not so much for this one. I don't see her blowing up the board. She is going to turn a lot of the multiply gems, but it's just not going to do a ton of damage, right? The striker one is an interesting one as well too. You finally got him. All right, congratulations, Devil. You finally got the shards. Let's go back up to the striker is the one that you mean. This one for the Acro Bianca. Congratulations on that. If you have her gear, your multiply gems are going to go up in strength. 7x2 multiply. She does have her other one. This military press slam is going to make snowfall gems. They will turn into blast, and then you can blow up the board that way. So if you have the EST, the striker version of Bianca Belair, anyone that's creating blast gems right now is going to be useful. So I'm not sure who you have in your aggressive class. I'm going to put this on the list. You just made the list. Striker Bianca. For now. Okay. Again, we're just looking for people that are going to blow up the board as best we can, because we are going to need to do that 5 times in order to break the shield. So everybody does it once and somebody else does it a second time before the shield is broken. So that's going to be probably our biggest obstacle this boss battle, right? So just keep that in mind. Your biggest obstacle is breaking this shield more so than anything else. Best female is Hall of Fame Nikki. How high up do you have Hall of Fame Nikki, Trace? And who else can we blow up the board with? You don't blow up. You just make boss gems. You have her at 6-star. Okay. You just make columns and columns. You make bonuses and other things. You are no good to us until we have that. You did it to cheese the end of the talent up. Well, that's sometimes that's what we have to do to get the talent up things done. I totally understand that. Tech Rhonda. Okay. At 6-star. I did not look at Alundra yet. I somehow knew instinctively, Oklahoma, that you weren't here. So we haven't actually gotten to her yet. But no, we'll look at her right after Rhonda. Demo was talking about Rhonda being somebody. So we don't need her 6-star move, so that's unnecessary for this one. Yes, somehow I knew. X-break gems, we can swap them into black gems. We can choose yellow, or we can choose 4 rows to destroy. X breaks on both of the subs. Yeah, so you can do one. You can pick whichever color sub you want. Um, so somehow I had the feeling, without breaking into some sort of song. So you can go whichever one you think will actually recycle better, whether that's the black and yellows or the green and yellows. But yeah, okay. So Ronda Rousey's going to blow up the board. M Dog says Beth Phoenix can do it. Okay, so we'll hit up Beth Phoenix after I get to what I promised that I would do, which was look at the Medusa Alundra, to see. I had equipped her differently for something else at some point. Choose yellow. This wouldn't be what we would probably use. She has a beefy finisher. This would make the bottom row into column break gems, so we would want to get the countdown gems. Yeah, female boss battle. Somebody, welcome on in. Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about right now. We're filling up the bargain bin right now with people that we think are gonna blow up the board, because I think our number one obstacle is. I hope you get her too, somebody. I think our biggest obstacle is breaking the shield and getting those 200 gems down, so that way you can get back to. So if you don't have some of the 5 or the 6 top ones on the list that we've created, then you're going to need someone to blow up the board. So Powerhouse China can definitely blow up the board, and she's going to do some serious damage for us. And so that's why I think having several Powerhouse Chinas is going to be the key in getting carried. But if you don't have her, then you need to bring something to the table. So someone who's going to break this, right? So these are going to make multiply gems. So the problem with hers is you have to choose the subs. I think all Chinas blow up the board pretty much. So yeah, I'm sure Goldie is, and like seriously, like it's about time. It's about time we had a female boss battle, right? Like it's been in the game for well over a year now, boss battles. So it's about time we had these sorts of things. I'm excited for it too, right? Like I like it when the game is evolving and bringing out new stuff. I don't like it that we don't have enough boss breaker currency, and I wish that would change. But I'm excited to where this goes. Only in that the only thing that's making myself and others angry, I'm sure, is that we were already short on boss breaker currency, and now we have to find a way to spread that across to the women's roster as well too. So that's going to be an issue. But here we are. Okay, so yes, she's going to make the bottom row into column breaks with just one of these. You're going to do the extra damage for each one of the countdown gems, so you can load up on countdown gem damage to get a couple million here or there. And then blow up the board. So Alundra's on that list of those who can blow up the board for sure. Beth Phoenix, that was the other one. We need to find me a Beth Phoenix in this area here. So since most of us worked up Beth Phoenix in some fashion over the last week to use her, yeah, she will also blow up the board too. And if you had her at 5-star, then you would have this move open as well to you, which would bring down all of these countdown gem timers. So it wouldn't be a 7-turn ridiculous timer. You would be able to make a lot of randomized blast gems and then blow up the board, or you don't, and you just simply continue to go with cross break gems. And this one's a little bit more random and a lot less likely to cascade. But again, if you've already built her up to the 5-star gold or something, yeah. Are they going to double the output currency? My guess would be no. M Dog's got it. You got her 6-star. Oh yeah. Okay. So, you're gonna do amazing then in terms of at least blowing up the board. So that's definitely gonna help. So Beth Phoenix is going to blow up the board. I heard some China mentions over here. So speaking of Chinas that can blow up the board, making the bottom 4 rows into blast gems, destroying the center column. So she's going to do that for sure. She also makes random column breaks. So China, all Chinas. And we said striker China was the other one. Beth at 5 silver. Okay, so that's going to help you at least to help out Trace to like blow up the board. Real Pyro, what's happening? Yes. What about Zbianca? I talked about her earlier, so I'll go back to her in just a second. So yeah, absolutely. We definitely talked about Zbianca as someone who can blow up the board, but also has traps. So she's definitely going to be a player in all of this. Go Becky is 100% going to be clutch with this. I only received DX Army China late in the game, so as you can see, she's still level 1 everything. She's only been brought up for coaching and other requirements, but I hardly ever use her at all. Choose 2 rows to destroy, basically, or 2 columns to destroy. 5 gems into purple. Multiply gems, 3x5 to destroy. Okay, so she's going to destroy a lot of the board. I don't think she destroys all of the board. She's going to get some multiply gem damage. So that's going to be an interesting way to do it. Okay. Her 6-star move does blast gems. Did I miss that part? Maybe I didn't check it. Choose 4 gems to make into blast. Okay, so if you have her at 6-star, that's what we like to see, right? We would like to see somebody who's going to blow up the board, whether that's cross X, column break, row break, whatever it is, or blast gems. Not ecstatic about the choose part of this. It says black gems. Okay, so this is not what we like to see. Screw it. Nope. sorry, China. You're not going to make the list on that one. Was it Striker Rhea that someone had said? Blacks into multiplies. It's just creating a bunch of gems. Okay, so it's not Striker Rhea. That's okay. It happens to the best of us. Well, we sometimes do that. Okay, Zombie Bianca. That was the question, right? Is that what you asked for, Real Pyro? Yeah, that's what you asked. Okay. Sorry, I had to go back into the chat just to make sure. So, Zombie Bianca, or Zest. Zest is going to be good for this, right? So she's got the traps that's gonna make it's not going to be broken by your opponent, so you're not going to get that bleed damage of it, but it is going to make random gems into X break. It is going to health steal does, but the problem is that we're not breaking the gems on that one, right? Because it's when it's broken by your opponent, it creates that part of the steal. But we're not looking to do that part. Is it? She doesn't have another trap gem one, right? No. Okay. That's part of her appeal, right? Is that she puts down the trap gems, blows up the board, and we just bleed out from there, right? We're gonna make X gems into. Most people who play Zbianca play her with the actual bite, right? It's the bleed damage right there, but it's only going to be just in general. Yeah, so health steal and leech gems, I believe, both work unless the shield is up. Then neither one works. So yes, you can steal. As far as to my knowledge, I think you can. That's a great question. I'm second guessing myself right now. We don't need extra gem damage right there. You can turn the traps into purple, so that's interesting. So you can put the traps down, turn those traps into purple gems, which are then going to create X break gems. And then her finisher would be to choose X breaks to go. To use that setup with Bliss. That is quite interesting. I think it would work. Yeah, you threw me for a loop. You had me second guessing myself. Or you just make the bottom 3 rows into X break and you just continually break them, right? So you throw these on the board and then you put the X breaks down on the bottom 3, right? So you get to choose the 2x2. So you put them in the top 4 rows. put these on the bottom 3 rows, blow up the board, and then just do it over again. You would just cycle these 2 moves basically. I don't see any other move that I would run with her. I'd probably just run those 2 moves over and over and over again. Yes, that seems to be the way that. Again, I don't have her, so I don't get to use her as often as I would like to. But 2 purple health steal moves. Yeah, so the problem with the health steal is that it's not gonna. I don't know. We can check her out and see if we should put her on the list. That would be an interesting one to maybe add. Pyro Bliss. So, anyways, I hope that answered the question, Real Pyro, about how to run the ZST. She's going to be great because she's going to create traps. She's going to blow up the board. So she's going to do the 2 things that we need, right? She's going to create damage, and she's going to help with the shield and stuff. So yeah, I think she's up there. I don't think she's going to be the best because I don't believe she makes enough traps in order to get there. We're talking this Bliss, the Pyro Princess. I only have 15 of her shards, which shows you just how hard she is to come across. That is a good question. This is the one you're talking about. The problem with making like a bucket, not a bucket, making like a bargain bin here is putting on people that most people have. And I'm not sure a ton of people would have her. Although she could put in a separate bin of those who might actually have someone that high. If I recall, she doesn't blow up anything. She just makes a ton of multiply gems. If I recall correctly, like that creates multiply gems. This increases blue gem damage, but we're not getting anything for blue gems, and this would take a long time really to stack into anything of worth. So I'm not seeing it with the Pyro Princess. So that's at least my take for it. What else? Anyone else that's really blowing up the board? Doing some major damage. Yeah, it is what it is, right? I'm hopeful that this, like all bosses, can be beaten on turn 1. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. That was not where I meant to go. Ember Moon can blow it up all. Demo. Stop. Super Stacy. Super Stacy can blow up the board. She would be she is the female X-Pac, but how many of you have honestly taken her up that high? Like, come on. How many of you have done anything of the sort? We're not going to be forcing anybody. The cartwheel turns into blast gems. Making X-Break gems into yellow gems. Yeah, Super Stacy is another good call. And she has a big finisher as well too, which was I think what Near said earlier. I think it was you, Near, that said that earlier in the stream, that another like big finisher on top of that too. So yeah, we can put. I'll have to make a promised ASG that I would make two bargain bins, right? One for rare characters and one for very common characters, so that way we can have some for everyone. Queen Zelina, who I keep not wanting to take 6-star, but she's actually the best showboat I have left. So randoms into purple, leech gems. That's the kick out move. Leech gems to destroy. That just increases them. She does a big bang here, but even then it's not a ton. You got to choose move as well too. I don't like her move set up for this type of a boss. She's not going to be doing enough damage. She's going to, I think, die too quickly when all is said and done. So Not my favorite for this. Who else you got? So we got Trick Becks. We need people blowing up the board. We just don't seem to have a ton of those lying around. That's interesting. All right. Think about... Yeah, we talked about Kyrie, but Kyrie's just not going to... She only has, I think we'd say 5 or 6 trap gems. So she's just not making enough trap gems. She's not blowing up the board. She's not doing anything really spectacular with the moves, right? She's got a lot of choose stuff. Yeah. Tech Baszler with the botch gem damage. Yeah, so Kyrie's on sort of the no. Yeah, there's really only 6 or 7 8 trap gem females in the game. Somebody, so that's why they chose it for the first time rolling out, right? Realizing that China and the rarer characters, right? China and Goat Becky are going to be 2 of the best, and after that, we're going to have to sort of work our way through it. Powerhouse Bree, who I don't have, correct? I do not, which is why I never think of her. Thanks, M-Dog. Powerhouse Bree can blow up the board. She can do it. I never think of it, but she does make blast gems, which is what we're looking for, right? So we got to choose, unfortunately, but I'm not sure how many of you have her that high up, but she is a high charge. That's going to be your... Again, if you don't have it, if this is your best aggressive powerhouse, right? Yeah, she's just very high charged and not going to do a whole bunch of blow up. There was one. What did we say? There was another one, Tech Baszler, like that one right there, with botch gems. Is that what you're saying? Demo. Swap into green. Choose gems. Botch and extra damage. Yeah. So the extra bonus damage here moves are, unless it's what we're looking for, which is trap gems, they are they're not going to do much of anything, right? We're looking just basically to blow up the board as much as we can. And I don't think she's going to be able to do that. That's a kick out move. No, I'm gonna say pass on Tech Baszler to do anything of consequence. So we'll keep thinking that through of what we can do. Botches be crazy. That is absolutely true. I did save this up for y'all. As always, I save my backstage pass loot coins. So fingers crossed, everyone. Big bucks, no whammies. Let's see if I get anyone actually decent this week in my weekly 7 from this. A whole 7 of the wholesome. Wonderful. Already off to a great start. 7 more? Oh, 6. Even less. Skip the rest? No, I'm not going to skip any of these. This time we're gonna touch corners and things, and we'll get 7. See, I got 1 more this time, demo, because I was doing. And 7 Zelina. Wow, they're only giving out 6 and 7 shards. Hey, I got prize wall coins. Oh, here we go. This is the winner. This is the one that gets me someone new. I was so excited. I was like, actually, some stars. I'm actually going to get somebody. All right. Yeah, exactly. That was gross. Right, Oklahoma Thunder? This is awful. Who's my 1,000 guaranteed? You know, that might have helped somebody else who didn't have her. But, common. Guaranteed super rare, and then a rare. All your good ones. You know what? I've never gotten I've gotten good from tapping. I've gotten not good from tapping. I've gotten nothing from not tapping. I've gotten nothing from tapping. Yeah, you can absolutely have them, Retro. I'm sorry that I had to steal 1,000 of those that you could have possibly used. Yeah, right, Bills Mafia? Like, wow. That was trash on a stick. I like the fact that they're in the backstage pass. I like the fact that I get like a chance to get something from this. But this is 2 weeks in a row that y'all have been on here with me watching them, and they are just terrible. I do not have. I have a 55 pull coming my way, probably by tomorrow. In tomorrow night's stream, I'll have that ready to go. That one I will skip because I don't think anybody wants to sit and watch me get 5,000 shards of all sorts of trash. But it's always fun to do that one. There are 7 pulls for $10 in here. I did not take a look. You got a 4-star gold Dakota Fuse. I am so jealous. Oh. Yeah, those were just awful. You know what I mean? Like for $10, that's basically what I did, right? So it's basically seven pulls for the $10 that I paid for the backstage pass and all the great resources. That's exactly it from the backstage pass. I'm sorry, I didn't catch it at first. Sorry. And that was from a 10 key pull. Wow, Retro, you got lucky. I'm very jealous of that luckiness. So definitely not going to spend 20 more bucks to take a 7 shot at that. And that's the problem, right? Like it's extra lucky. You count your lucky stars on that for sure. And you got 4-star gold. Oh gosh, everyone's doing it. Do it. Do the 10 pull. Is that the consensus? Everybody actually wants me to do a 10 pull right now, just to show how I'm not as lucky as Retro. I think I got everything else in here. All right, so what have I got to lose? Viewers, followers, maybe, and the 7 pull. Yeah, I have a chance to lose everything. All of my followers are gone. Everything I've worked so hard for are gone. No, I'm viewers and money at that point. That's right. Not that we make a lot of money at all doing this, but that is true. It is still money. You're here for me. You can do it. I'll tell you all what. Tomorrow I'll pull the 55. 3 shakes and skip. Okay. No tapping. All right, fine. We'll do the 10, and then we'll do a 55 later. All right. We're gonna do a demo style. Here we go. 2, 3. Skip. And I got my guaranteed super rare 5,000 shards. Did I lose anybody? Have I lost any followers? Is everybody still here? Everyone's still around? Yeah, that's a huge, and that's what I expect, right? I expect to get absolutely nothing in trash all from it. So it'll probably be Wednesday or next Sunday, but everyone's still here. I appreciate the love though. Yeah, next we'll save up for the 55. The 7 pulls will be good. Yeah, I've done my 7 pull already for EO, and that was enough for me. I got literally nothing. It was just garbage. I'm gonna post a YouTube short of it tomorrow morning, as I usually do on Mondays. I put up just a YouTube short of just me pulling absolute trash most times. So y'all can see that one if you're so inclined to see how bad my 7 pull for EO was. That's not Molly Holly. I did say that. So run it back. I've spent too much this week on this game already, so I'll save it. I'll save next week. So next week we're doing Showdown. So I'll save the pull for next Sunday just for you, Retro, so you can see it. But yeah, I'm not. This is one of those weekends where I'm like, you know what, I cannot in good conscience put another $20 into this game when they've done nothing at all for me this week. You know what I mean? Like nothing. So it, in the grand scheme of things, it won't matter. That's very true. You're trying to get me to spend. It won't work. Showdown is next Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's the next weekend. If you know, if everything goes according to plan. If not, then we are subject to change. So yeah. Next week, next Sunday, I'll do three different pulls for that for sure. You have a good night too, Bills Mafia. Thank you so much. So I'll do that next Sunday. Next Sunday I'll do the $20 pull. I'll do the backstage pass pull, and I'll do the 55 for the loot, and you all can see just how much I don't get. So something to come back to, right? Y'all come back next week when I get nothing. You ready to come see that? It's going to be great. Everyone should come down for that. So just a recap of who we think are going to be the best and who's on my list. And if you think of anybody else, we can totally add them on afterwards. But I thought I'd just do a quick recap before we end the night. Unless somebody needs to see a tour build. Appreciate it, Demo. Thank you. I'm rooting for myself. I'm rooting for you to get new ones as well too. I root for all of y'all against the very high odds that we have in the game. I still have to do my tours in general for this. Oh, nice. Retro just sent me you just sent me the DM of the fuse that you got of Dakota. It's pretty sweet, man. Yeah, I just saw it right now. Retro. Pretty dang sweet. Very, very jealous. Very, very much. Very much so. So if you don't have one of the top 5 or 6 for this boss battle, you're going to need to break the shield. The shield's at 200. That's going to be one of our biggest obstacles. You are also going to try to trick Rollins for hell mode. I can go over and show you what I did for trick Rollins. 3K tokens to go 5-star. Yeah, you just need a ton of them. You just have to save up for a couple of weeks. What was I saying? Shield. You need to bring somebody who's going to blow up the board and help break that shield. Since the boss breakers will not help with that, that is not important to us in the sense that you also, if you are going to bring in a breaker, it's going to be someone that I believe it's focused, that will increase the MP cost. Increase the MPs you get for each match to help battle against this one for sure. And so we decided as a list of the good ones to use. So Trick Becky, Zombie EST. We said EO Sky, the new Showboat Bailey was going to be good. Who else did we say? Is there anyone in this crowd as well too? And then Hall of Fame China. I don't know how I could have forgotten her. This was the one that had EO Sky in it as well too. Yeah, so those were going to be our best sort of 6, and then after that we are sort of grasping at straws, right? So Trick Stacy is going to be one of our best to work with. Super Stacy to blow up the board. Striker Bianca, Mutant Bailey, Mickey, Carmella, Lana, the Medusa, Alundra. Those are sort of what we put in the bargain bin so far. Did I miss anybody in that quick little recap of things going forward? So Bill's Mafia wants to know how to do this. Tech Bailey, Acro Bianca to build up. Yeah, so those are yours to build up, because Striker Lashley is not going to help us in this boss battle. It was this Hell Tour, correct? Is this the one that you're talking about, Bill's Mafia? You just pulled them this weekend. Nice. Very nice. Will this tell me the contest, or is it because I've already beaten it? Okay. I have already beaten this one. I don't think I did it with this one. this one. Okay, so this is as far as I got with mine. I did not try to beat Cody. I thought that was a bridge too far because mine's only 4-star bronze, and I wasn't willing to do anything more into Seth freaking Rollins. So you can see I don't even have a strap on him for this. I did level up his moves. So mine's 10k double blue green is where I went with it. And then, I beat him as well at 5-star bronze. So the first node is beatable. And then after that, it just becomes, depending. Yeah, that's it. Props. You're going to need props over at some point. What did I have on him? So I started with more blue. I generated more purple. And then if you need to bring down the blue move starting MP, that would work. If you need to bring down the number of sub turns, then that's another thing that you can do. So that way sub turns are only one turn. So as long as your moves are charged going into the sub, if you can reduce the sub to one turn, then you could absolutely defeat that because you'll be loaded up as your turn comes back on again. So I think this is how I ran him basically without the strap up to that node. And I think that the problem was once you get to Cody has a ton of life. You might be able to do it with props at that point, but this is sort of where I stopped. Did you get a chance to see that, Bills Mafia? Or are you still in? Obviously, the higher up you have Seth Rollins, the better. And since we've all stopped using him, you can see how many coaches have come out with flat purple damage. You've seen how many coaches have come out that allow you to. You saw it. Good. Excellent. That allow you to drop MP that allow you to make these worth less. So there's definitely ways around it. What I did for the first node of hard is that I used a prop, so that way my blues were set for turn one, and then you just do your best to. This one is a choose, so I would put the random out first in the hopes, make sure that the green gems aren't going to cascade you out of your turn. And then you can choose a whole bunch of purple, blow up the board as best as you can. Try to make a green match with your cascade. Try to make a blue match with your cascade because you're not making any of these into... all these are making purple gems. And so none of that helps you with... reloading anything that's here. And so that is where having a strap on him would help. I'm going to give up because there's no way that I'm going to knock off enough. I would need to defeat this node. So if you need this node, in which I stopped because I didn't want to put a whole bunch of props into this node if it wasn't going to get me to the next milestone, right? So I'm going to go back to I'm going to defeat all the tours once we get off of the stream. And then if I need to, I'll come back to this and beat it. Acromella. Okay. Acromella might be an interesting one. I'll add that to the list for sure. I don't know. That would be an interesting... it's an interesting relationship in itself. So I don't know how that would work. Interesting. So how would we run him? So putting one on him, I don't even think I have one that would... Oh, I do have one that works. So I have one, but I didn't want to waste the strap parts or anything to build it up. So it's 7 p.m. I think Bill's Mafia Usually leaves the stream about this time because you got getting the kids ready and stuff for tomorrow morning and stuff. That's usually where you're have some dinner, put the put the kids to bed, sort of thing. Um, that's usually why they're out so early. 7 p.m. Yeah, it's 10 on the East Coast of the U.S. So the higher you can bring up Seth, a strap, and then depending on who you're facing. So I think with Brock, that's exactly what happens. That's what I thought. I think that's what I thought you said before, right? That you got your kids to get ready and stuff like that. So like Brock, you would be able to bring down his. Does he have his or no? He just has his finisher and stuff like that. So it wasn't Brock. It might have been the final node. Yeah, so it's Edge. Edge is going to have his sub. Eventually, you're going to... The reason I didn't go any higher with Seth Rollins is like, I'd have to put way too many resources to beat a 13 million health Edge, right? Like, that's just way, way, way too much, right? Like, as my buddy Liability has been saying all week in the faction chat, right? Like, anybody asking how do you beat this with Seth Rollins, his response has always been, you don't, you beat it with theory. And so that's like the funny joke, but that's the reality of it, right? Like, it's going to be really hard to do. You're going to need him high enough to do damage with enough health to last out his 13 million with enough props to keep him from going off. And you're going to have to pick trainers that either negate the sub or some of the other damage that Edge is going to do. Theory just does have more, right? Like, he's, came at the game at the cusp of or at 6-star, right? Whereas forever, if you had that Seth Rollins at the beginning, like, he ran this game. It was just so much easier with him. So I hope that helps. Like, as Demo said, and as I can attest to, without props, you can beat this Finn Balor. So it's definitely possible. You might need props, but it's definitely possible. Especially when, like, the AI, for me, when I did it, the AI put the 4x1 snowfall gems on the bottom row. Yeah, when Seth was a 3-star thing, it was amazing. You beat him on autoplay. No props necessary. Well, that must have been nice. So yeah, he's definitely doable. He doesn't have, once you start getting over 1 million health, then you have to start to try to find a ways to make it work, right? Yeah, the reshuffling. I think it's one of those things that the computer, because we get to choose gems, it can't account for all of that stuff. So that's why we have most other gem games that don't have the board blowing up. You're just just making matches and stuff like that. They don't have that sort of issue, but it's the human error that allows this to happen. So I agree with you. The reshuffling of the board that allows them to get a 5 match is just annoying. So, yeah, if I need to, then I will bring him up to get these points here, but the likelihood of that is small. And I would only bring him up to beat up to Brock. I have no desire to win this match because, like, I'm going to do this for 20 of her shards. Like, come on. I'm going to spend all this time and resources for 20 more EO Sky shards? No. Sorry. If this was like the 5-star bag, I might consider it because there's a chance of something else, but that ain't enough. That's not enough to get me moving on that. So as you can see, I got 2 tours. This one I don't have EO Sky for. So yeah, I'm not taking them up that high. I'm not going to waste the resources into a card that I'm never going to use. So that's basically the end of that part of the conversation, at least in my mind. So you need 1 or 2 more, then it's 100% worth your time then, right? So if you can get it up there, then then do it. And that's the question, right? So, what is in the next milestone that is worth getting that? So for me, if this was my next milestone and I had to put more than 10 million coin or 400 TP, then it's not worth it to bring up Seth freaking Rollins, right? So is it going to get me these tokens? Well, these are valuable, but is it worth the amount of tokens I'd have to waste to bring him up sort of more? So I think that's the game you got to play, right? So more milestones are yummy, but if I'm not getting something that's worthwhile, is it worth the offset, right? So that's the game you have to play. Like if it's going to get you this milestone right here, like that's a pretty good milestone. So you're going to have to, I guess, decide what you're going to get with it, right? That's 100%. Brother Ray, what's happening? We're doing pretty good. We're slowly winding down the stream. We're going to be on for probably about a few more minutes, but we've been going on the boss battle stuff. How you doing? How was your feud? How was everything in your side of the world? We're just talking Seth Rollins and playing him in the 01010101 tour over here. So basically get what you can and get out of there. And if you have to do this, then try not to bring them up much past 4-star gold. Put the good strap on and hopefully you get a lot of put some Fury 2s and add a whole bunch of damage to that, and hopefully that's what takes you over the top, right? Like that's the most you can hope for. It's so hard, right? Like it's so hard to figure out what's worthwhile, right? In the game. And that's why usually I just beat tours like you saw right there. I took them as far as I could go, then I beat the rest of the tour, and then I'm going to beat these tours. I'm going to see how far away I am from getting that next milestone, and if it's not worth it, then it's not worth it. We'll call it a weekend, and be done with it, sort of thing. And put our focus on the scouting mission. I do have to say that I'm actually quite disappointed that they've probably known that this was going to be a female character and did nothing to change this. Right? Like they could have easily changed that. It would have taken them 5 minutes. With Tech Bailey, yeah. So if you have that option to go up with Tech Bailey, then it's worth putting some coin. And Tech Bailey is actually someone worth putting coins into. It's someone that you can actually use at 6-star and who's viable at 6-star as opposed to Seth Rollins. Yeah, easy fix, right? Like easy. You take out the shadowy Roman Reigns figure right here, and you put in anybody you want, any female character you want. You could have even put in, you took the time to put Bailey here. You could have easily just put her in that other poster, right? So I get that this is difficult sometimes to change those sorts of things, but it's those small things, those small attentions to detail that really they're important, right? The small things can be important. I think that's one of those times where you show your commitment to the changes that you're making in the game. So if you're going to make a big change, like adding female faction bosses, then that's something that they should do. I don't know. That's just my opinion, but so yeah, I think we have a good idea who's going to be good for this boss battle. I think we have a good idea of whom we like to see. We're going to have a hard time with I think my game just finally froze up. I guess that's the game telling me that we're going to be done. Oh, nope, it came back. I don't know why it took me here. That's not what I clicked on. So this is going to be it's going to be difficult, but I don't think it's going to be insurmountable. I think it's going to depend on our abilities to break the shield and how much of a wild card someone like Hall of Fame China is going to be. And if you have anybody in your faction that actually has Bailey at 6-star and has Io Sky that's going to be really the kicker. So it's going to depend a lot on who's in your faction and what they have. Bills Mafia, if all is what they say it's going to be, it's this week. So this weekend is supposed to be a showdown weekend, and they did say that it would be up sometime this week. So subject to change. I guess that's the best way we can put it, right? Subject to change. But that's what they have going right now. So if it does come back and everything is good and we're starting this week and we're all happy, then I can excuse something like this when they're focusing on an even bigger change. So there is that. So I think this is a good enough place to stop for the night. We're going to be back on again tomorrow night, Monday Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. As per usual, as my per usual time slot. So I'll be on after Mondays with Merrick's on the official WWE channel. So I usually go on just around the time that he's ending. So if you do go over there and check out, because he's going to do a lot of this talk as well about the boss battle and the faction boss stuff. So definitely check that out, and then head on over tomorrow night Eastern time, of course, or wherever you are in the world, and we'll talk some more boss battle when we know a little bit more about what's going on, and we'll look at the new tours for the week, because we will have new challenge tours, new weekly tours and stuff like that, and we'll have some more stuff to go over there. So I wish y'all a great rest of the day, great rest of the night, or the afternoon, wherever you are, and whatever it is that you're doing. Thanks for coming in and hanging out with me this evening. I really appreciate it. I do love talking shop and talking about the game. So I wish y'all a real quick, how about Liv? I can do a real quick about Liv. Liv does damage, yes, but it's like 1 million here and 1 million there, right? Like, I'm not sure. Like, she doesn't have traps. Correct? She's not. I only face her with. She does a lot of move damage that way, but destroy random gems, blues into multiplies. Yeah, she's not going to do swapping 11 gems, but that's a reversal. That doesn't help us. Destroy random gems. Yeah, Liv's not going to do anything. Moving the pin bar and doing 1 million damage against someone with 1 billion damage literally is doing 1/1000th of a percentage, right? Like, not 1/1000, but doing like 1/1000th of a percent. Yeah, it's not nothing to write home about. No traps. Yeah, but the multiply, but no real gem boosts or anything like that. So in a normal mode where the person has 10 million or less, she's great. When they have 1 billion, not going to do much damage. So hard pass on Liv for this mode. All right, y'all. Have a great night, day, whatever it is. Yeah, it was a good class tonight. I'm glad everyone made it in, and appreciate y'all. We will see y'all tomorrow when we chalk this all up and do some tours and other fun things. So be safe out there. Have a good rest of it, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Class is over.